when they are consuming your minds and your thoughts and your dreams, from the angels to the demons and to the mysteries unseen, there is no need to worry. There is no need for dread. It's just time to discuss the thing at the foot of the bed.
Good evening, and if you're just tuning in, you are listening live to 105.3 out of Mississippi and 107.7 out of New Orleans, Louisiana, to UFO Paranormal and United Public Radio Network, and this is the thing at the foot of the bed. I'm one of your hosts. My amazing friend and co-host is to the right of me. I get all the housekeeping things out of the way, so welcome. I'm a host, obviously, here on the network of this show with my co-host David, but I also have my own show on Monday nights called The Angel Rock. 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and my name's Lorilei Potvin. I'm a Canadian psychic medium, crystal Reiki energy healer, Akashic Records practitioner, spiritual teacher and mentor, a registered nurse. I am also, what else am I? I'm a budding animal communicator, well-versed in near-death experiences, having studied them for over 40 years professionally and personally, and have had one as a toddler myself. And I'm extremely well-versed in the paranormal. I say we never went looking for it. It found us in my previous home for many years. It was an extreme haunting. We did share the story with the Travel Channel's Paranormal Survivor, Season 4, Episode 9, and a little bit of trivia for you. One of the intuitive people and professionals that I did not meet before our episode that consulted on the episode is our own incredible Michelle DeRoche, she's been on Canada's Most Haunted. She's been on all kinds of haunted shows, obviously Paranormal Survivor. Plus, more importantly, second night of her show, The Outer Realm with Amelia Pisano, is coming up right after our show tonight. So hang around for their show for sure. Also, if you guys like what you see, please like, share, and subscribe. Tell all your friends and family. There really is something for everybody on this network. We're up to at least, I think, 40 hosts on the network. We could have some new shows. I haven't had a chance to check recently, but we stream multiple shows daily, 7 days a week. And when we're not streaming live, the archive server kicks into the last 25 plus years this network's been around and randomly pick shows to stream. So we are live all the time, and we do stream on YouTube and anywhere where talk radio and podcasts are carried. Our network broadcasts, and we do broadcast to every country in the world, believe it or not. So that's kind of cool. If you guys want to watch, because we got some people in the chat here that we're going to say hi to. You've seen my show, The Angel Rock, or this show. They're both very audience participative. You guys make the show, and we talk about what you guys want on this show. Otherwise, Dave and I would just be having a great conversation. And Dave and I can when we're off air, but you guys add so much to the show, so we love having you here. So thank you for joining us. But how are you going to do that? Because 80% of the audience is listening only around the world. So how you're going to join in the chat is you can head over to my co-host David Hanzel's YouTube channel, The Spirit Experience. I believe he's streaming to his personal profile, right, Dave? Psychic Medium David Hanzel. I'm streaming to my profile on Facebook, which is under Lorilei Potvin. It is public, so you don't have to be on my friends list. You can still watch the show and comment. We're streaming on my YouTube channel, The Angel Rock with Lorilei Potvin. We're streaming on the network UPRN. UPRN, that's our shortcut. It's UFO Paranormal United Public Radio on YouTube, as well as on Facebook and Canada's Most Haunted. Lastly, we are streaming to Instagram on The Angel Rock. So I don't want you to think we're ignoring you over there. Don't put the comments. We got weird sounds coming. Ghost in the machine. No. We are streaming on The Angel Rock, but they don't put the comments in with everybody else over here. So I'll try and pop back and forth to say hello to you. We're not ignoring you, I promise. I think that is everything I wanted to say, Dave. I said it real quick. So tell them.
That was like really fast. It's like I could have swore you had a lot of coffee before you did that.
Nope. It's the heat. I'm melting.
Yeah, she's melting. So she's got to say it fast before she disappears, and you're just left with me. My name is David Hanzel. I am a spiritual medium. I am a channel, animal communicator, guide communicator, spiritual coach, etc., etc., etc. I'm also versed in the paranormal and near-death experiences, having had one in 2015 myself, but Lorilei has been studying them a lot longer than I have. So she knows, she knows about them.
I know about a lot of things that I don't need to even talk about on here tonight.
Yeah, you guys, listen, if you think that we're pretty wacky on this show, you should hear what we talk about when you're not around. It's a mind scramble. But that's just because when, you know, and don't worry, we don't hold back here, but if something comes up, we'll go off the deep end on it. We'll have fun. But
don't forget to tell them about our group, Dave.
Huh? Oh, yeah. By the way, so all you people watching, please, anybody watching or in the chat right now, please go to our group, The Thing at the Foot of the Bed with Lorilei Potvin and David Hanzel, which is on Facebook. Within that group, you can see if you're listening, and when we play videos and stuff, Lorilei is nice enough to go on in there and post them all for you guys. Most of the time, whenever she can, if she doesn't, she'll think about it, and the next day.
Usually do.
Yeah. And if you guys want to tell us any stories in there, any spooky stories or any stories or things about what happened to you or anything and want us to talk about it, or just want to get some feedback from other people who are in the same mindset as you, feel free to post that in that group. And when we get up to 200, it's a newer group. It's only a couple months old, but when we get up to 200, Lorilei and I will start doing lives every once in a while in that group, just doing readings, because that's what we do outside of this show. We do
answer questions. People want to talk about something.
Yeah, you can ask anything in that group that even you might not wanted to ask here. So, and we don't mind that at all. Other than that, I'm going to give it back to Lorilei real quick, and we're going to say hi to everybody.
Good. You were reading my mind. So we've got Dolly Lord. She says, hi, hey, David. Jackie Lane. Hi, David and Lorilei. Leslie 266. Hello. Diane Brighton. Hi, everyone. Contessa, but I know her as Connie Martins. Hi, everyone. She says, hello, Lorilei and David. Marissa Burrill. Hi, David. Julie Dow. Good evening. So we're glad you could join us here. So it's super, super hot to everybody I've talked to. I know it's summer in the Northern Hemisphere, but holy crap, especially where I'm living. I've told people this and they never believe me, but I'm 35, 40 minutes away, as you've heard this a million times, David, yourself, and some people have before too, from the Minnesota border. I'm in Canada. I'm in Thunder Bay, but we are about 6.5 hours north of Minneapolis, Minnesota. And in the wintertime, last winter it was beautiful, so it was an exception. We can go down to minus 55 with the wind chill. And no, I don't live in an igloo. I don't ride polar bears. I don't have a pet moose, and I hate
He's lying to you. She rides polar bears. I saw her.
But the thing is, in the summertime, it can go up to, in Fahrenheit, well, Celsius, if you look at the weather, it'll probably say it's about 23, 25 degrees Celsius, which is decent. Like, you know, I think I always learn the imperial, so I think it's like high 70s, low 80s, right? But with the humidex, like, I swear to God, it's got to be up to 42 degrees Celsius at least, if not higher. We have a heat warning we've had all week. Like, it is just gross.
We've been off and on all over here. I mean, because
you're in North Carolina. Like,
yeah, I'm on the East Coast. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. This is gross, the heat. It's like, ugh. And then guess what I realized? It's August the 1st today. And I went, I think my birthday's 14 days away. And I looked, I guess we're having a party for my birthday on August 15th, because that's a Thursday. So
there we go. Birthday party for Lorilei on a Thursday.
I've done it before on the Angel Rock when my birthday's fell. Tells you how much I do for my birthday, right? We're going to be hanging out with all these awesome people.
Yeah, that's like me. It's like, I need to forget it. By the way, you guys.
We did your birthday here too.
Yeah, I think we did. Yeah, my birthday fell around the same day as well. I think the day before. Yeah, I think it was, or after. Lorilei had mentioned August 1st. You guys, all you people who follow like the moon and the charts and the spells and all that stuff.
Because
August
I
1st
thought it was
is,
in the matrix. I had that video, that concept. I know you're going to talk about it. I just want to throw it
yeah,
out there. I've had 2 or 3 people send me different videos about this, and take it away, Dave. I've never
the
heard
first of the month. The first of the month is where you can do spells of abundance. And so basically it's real easy, you guys. If you
and
want,
new moons.
yeah, and new moons. But if you want to try the first of the month, and it is Lionsgate and all that other fun stuff, and I'll tell you, a lot of really creepy, fun stuff has happened to me. And I'm not creepy, actually, really good stuff. But money spells, basically, it's very easy. There's different ones, but the easiest one is all you need is sea salt and cinnamon. Walk up to your front door, put a little sea salt in your hand. There's a little spell you can say, but you don't really have to go by some spell, but it's just, about you're open to everything and abundance. Then you blow the salt, let it sit on the floor, get the left hand again, put in the cinnamon, say how you're welcoming in abundance and all that stuff, blow it on the floor.
I'll post it. I'll post it because I downloaded it.
I actually put it in our group as well. I put a video in our group as well.
There you go.
Yeah. If you're in our group, there's a video in there. I didn't show you how to do it, but August is a great month for B-Days.
There's a reason why I highlighted this.
Oh, there you go. And also, if you are in Aries, it's been going around all over with readers. August is like a kick butt month for Aries, and like lots of monetary things coming in. So we'll see. I'll let you know.
Okay, well, there's a reason why, though, I highlighted Mish, because Mish is over in Australia. So they're 12 to 14 hours away ahead. Yeah. So Michelle's birthday, I think, Michelle, isn't it the day? It's August 14th, but by the time I see it, it's August 15th. So I always call ourselves birthday twins, Michelle and I. Plus, she does resin, she does organite, she does a whole bunch of stuff like this. So that's why I highlighted. Hi, Michelle Wilfong. She said, hi, everyone. I'm late. And happy birthday, Marissa said, thank you. 2 weeks away, but thank you for the early birthday wishes.
Yeah, and so Mish is in the future right now.
She's in the future. Yes.
What's happening? Let us know what's happening tomorrow for us, okay?
She's in Australia. It's winter over there.
Yeah. Oh, well, tell us. Yeah, that's right. You guys are winter, because when I have a bunch of clients in Australia, and it's funny how we have to go back and forth to do our phone calls. It's either, if they go by my thing, she has to be up at like 5 a.m. in order to have a reading with me at
I've got lots of people in Australia too. So with the time zone difference, or it's always interesting when I have somebody on from Australia, but the time my show is and when they come on, it's usually just early morning, so it works out well. So I think it was last week we left off on somebody, I think it was Robo. He's a new person that's found our network. He was asking about glitch in the matrix at the end of the show. So I have a bunch of glitch in the matrix videos, but you have a story to tell about your earring that we promised.
Oh yeah, and then I have the earring story. I did remember as we were sitting here.
Mm-hmm. So hi, Linda Salvo Miller. I'm going to shout her out. She's a friend of mine since practically birth. And
hi, Linda. I can tell it now, or you can play some glitch in the matrix videos first. But if you whatever you'd like me to do. I'll just start. It's not a long story. I won't stretch it out.
I still think it's cool.
Yeah, it's interesting how they're ahead of us. So really, it does seem like that. Yeah.
I'm going to load one up while you're telling this story, because this is an interesting one.
Okay. So anyway, there is a while back I remember, I'm going to try to tell the story short, so I'll have to tell it right. I had these 2 earrings. I've got them in now, actually. They're these 2 round earrings. It's the only earrings I could wear because they're titanium. I literally can't have any other metal touch my body but titanium. I don't know why. It's just odd. If I want to wear earrings or jewelry, it either has to be titanium or I have to coat it with nail polish and all this other stuff to wear it. Not even gold or anything else will help. Not even surgical steel.
Why is that on there? It should be up there yet. Sorry, Dave. Go ahead. I don't know why that helped itself, but it did. Go ahead.
But anyway, so I went to bed, and this was in my old house. I went to bed, and when I woke up, one of my earrings had fallen out. And I could not find it anywhere. It was gone, but I took the other earring out because I didn't just want to wear one earring, and I put it on the shelf. Okay. And I had moved and everything else, and I had that earring on the shelf next to my bed. And it was sitting there forever. And I finally went and got a new pair of earrings that I found, and I put those in my ears. I have double holes. I got them both in. But anyway, one day, I don't remember this. There's like a weird circumstance why, but I was thinking about that earring, and I walked into the bathroom of my house, and and I had lived there for a very long time now. On the floor, on top of the carpet, there's like a rug that I had in there, was that earring. I assumed that one of my cats got the earring off the shelf and dragged it in there and was playing with it. So I picked it up, went to go walk back in by the shelf, and on the shelf is the earring. So that other earring somehow showed up and it was lost for a long time. Yep. And it just showed up. So I don't have a theory about it. I really don't. I just took it as that was cool. And I thanked whomever for bringing my earring back. So when we're talking about glitches in the matrix, from what I gather, like how I look at it, and we all look at it differently. I guess there's really no right or wrong way to look at it. I might have lost it in one timeline I was in, and then I moved over a timeline and found it, and found it back. Because if you look at glitches in Matrix, it could be because of that. Some people were saying that this is interesting, Lorilei, like the Mandela effect and all those things, or the Berenstein.
I'm just waiting for you to finish, and then I'm gonna, before I show the video, I'm gonna.
Okay, you got more. But anyway, within this is the last thing. So within those things, some people are saying, and I think it's very interesting. I don't know myself, but what happens is we half the people like switch to timelines. So like when I look back at it, I'm like, that's what it really was. Everybody says no, it wasn't like that. I'm like, well, no, it was like that for me, but maybe in your timeline, it was like that for you. So who knows? But I think it does have a lot to do with our shifts, because human beings rifle through timelines, like thousands of them per second. So who knows where we end up? Maybe that's what it is. I'm not sure, but it's always fun to just watch and see what happens.
So first we'll say Jennifer Valentine says, hi, David. Jackie Lane, that's a good comment to bring up. I always think of the fairies being tricky. We can always go to that after a few clips. We've got Ed Odell, or Howie as I know him. He says, hope all is well with everyone. Tips top hat. Just so you guys know, Howie has the Riff Nation Network. David and I have been on his show with his co-host Rhonda and Howie on the Orion Effect a couple times, and we've loved it. Howie's been on the Angel Rock, and he's got many great hosts on the network. Actually, Howie, I have a guest for you I want to connect you with. I don't know if it'll be somebody or a show that you might do, but I think it'll be a good one. Anyways, I'll leave it at that. But okay, on to Glitch in the Matrix and the Mandela Effect. David is very much right. That's one of the theories. And I believe too, as human beings, we can switch timelines and we don't even realize we have. How many of you have been there and your partner that you live with, you've had a whole conversation with them about something and you knew they were listening, so they weren't not listening. That's not the excuse. But you get, it's a couple days later and you say to them, you bring it up again, the subject, and they go, what are you talking about? And you go, you don't remember? I just had this conversation with you a couple nights ago. Person doesn't remember at all. And am I saying it's always a glitch in the matrix or a timeline shift? No. But if it happens sometimes with some frequency and your partner doesn't have any memory problems or issues, something to look at. You'll notice other things besides just that.
I have to say real quickly, I'm going to get you back to your story. I agree with you wholeheartedly, because I've got a couple friends who have like said they sent me this and they'll say, didn't you see it? I'm like, see what? And they've never said, and they go, it's on my thing. And it's like, it's not on mine. So yeah, I get if they're not, I get how that.
That's not the only thing, but it's to start paying attention to and looking at other things you may have noticed that have shifted that we all look at and go, okay, I was sure I put that there, and you notice it in a different spot. There's all kinds of things. Howie, we're going to answer that too. You said, how many times have you seen someone's doppelganger? In my house, my doppelganger or twin had shown up in my previous home many times and assaulted my partner, Dell, and I've never hit anybody in my life. But back to the glitch in the matrix. So there's a couple different theories. One I know Dave doesn't subscribe to. I don't know what to believe with it, but people believe we're living in a simulation, kind of like The Matrix, the movie, The Matrix. And I actually watched a video tonight. I was going to download it. I thought, nah, too heavy for a hot night. And it was talking about the theory of ones and zeros and the simulation, and gave many examples. But there's also the Mandela effect. And this is where I think it starts to give us some evidence. It's funny you brought up the Berenstain Bears, because that's the first video I'm going to show.
Oh.
And what it is those of us that are old enough to remember, I'll be 59 in 2 weeks. Howie, we're having a party here. It's my birthday 2 weeks on Thursday. So we're having a party here. We had Dave's party the night of his birthday. We're having mine too. Yeah. So anyways, most of us that are old enough to remember at a certain time that it was announced that Nelson Mandela from South Africa, who was a big part of apartheid and history over there and made great changes for Black people over there, basically. Mm-hmm. And we remember him as having died. And then all of a sudden, it was like he was alive and he showed up. Same thing with the Berenstain Bears. Mm-hmm. Most of us remember those books as children, being Berenstain being Bernstein. Well, now Berenstain is now Berenstain. So the second E is now an A. Mr. Peanut, remember him? He used to have a top hat and a monocle. He doesn't. The Monopoly game has changed. I mean, like with the little character for that, we could go on and on and on.
The underwear with the cornucopia, the men's underwear. Some people see the cornucopia. Yeah.
Michael Jordan's running. He has a silhouette on Air Jordans and stuff like that. Back in the day, I believe. Now I might get this mixed up. I think it looked like he was wearing shorts, and now it looks like he's wearing long pants. There's all kinds of things. Hi, Joanna Garfield McNally. Is anyone's chat frozen? I'm not seeing that. We usually are pretty good about that, Dolly. So if it is, you might want to close YouTube and then just come right back in. Sometimes it'll.
I gotta quick tell you something. When we were talking about, like you said, what I don't subscribe to, which is it's true in a sense. But you know what I was thinking just now? If I looked at it in that sense, if I looked at it, the simulation theory as an organic simulation theory, does that make sense? It makes more sense to me.
I don't know what you mean by organic.
I think because most people, when they think of it, they think of it like as a computer screen. Like if we took away all this, there'd be lines and dots and all this other thing. I look at if I look at it,
I haven't looked at it that way though. If you get down into numbers, and numbers don't lie, and if there really are only ones and zeros, that's what they're referring to the simulation.
Okay.
Watch The Matrix, but go ahead.
Yeah. No, okay, I understand that. When I look at it in an organic sense, meaning it's almost like there's substance to it, like there's not an overlay of screen over screen. Then
I've never heard of it as screen over screen.
Yeah, no, but that's how I know that. That's just how my mind conceives of it when somebody says it. That's why I said if I change my mind and go, okay, to me that means more organic, then it makes more sense because I do understand the 10001000.
Or are you thinking when you say organic more of like an overlay, like we've got your window and an overlay that it switches, or what?
Yeah, well, kind of like, you know how in space and time, we all know that between space actually is curved. I mean, it's not linear, it's curved. And it's more, the simulation for me moves in waves instead of string, if that makes sense. It's a weird thing. It's just the way my mind conceives it. So,
hi, Cindy Simpson. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Dave. I was just going to say, okay, so I've heard of when the movie, The Matrix, the trilogy came out. I remember when I watched the first movie years ago when it came out, I thought, oh my God, this is the weirdest movie. I just don't get it. I don't enjoy it. Now I have watched it many times. I have watched the trilogy. I've heard people refer to it as a documentary, people that believe in that theory. So to me, numbers don't lie. And when we break down even the organics on the planet, right? Like we get into the spirals and natural spirals and spirals of life,
Exactly.
7 days of the week. I mean, we get all the numbers, it all breaks down. And I think that that's where Tesla really bought into it and really worked physics as well as with the principle of everything being energy. And then numbers fall into physics as well, right? So to me, it made sense. It's either 1 or it's 0. So I don't know if it's a simulation. And does it really matter?
Oh yeah, we don't really know. I'll tell you this though, and here's a shocker. What everybody doesn't know. I have never watched or seen The Matrix ever. I don't. All I know is that Keanu Reeves is in it, and I know a few things I watched on.
If you watch The Matrix, and I would suggest you do a little bit of research on it before, not finding out everything, just a little bit about what it's about.
Oh, I know most of it. I've seen the red pill, blue pill. I know all those.
That's not what I'm talking about. You didn't let me finish. You will understand why people say we are living in a simulation.
Okay. So you said do what?
Because what happens is, yes, you know about the red pill and the blue pill.
Yeah.
Okay. And you hear why people say they've been red pilled when they claim to be awake. So what it is Keanu Reeves, and I'm not going to give it away for anybody, has been deemed by the faction that knows what's really going on with Morpheus and Trinity and the whole team and stuff, that Neo is the one. Now, Neo's real name in the movie is not Neo, it's Thomas, but he's a computer hacker on the side, and he uses a screen name Neo. You spell Neo backwards, 1. Anyways, long story short, he ends up connecting with Morpheus and gets seconds to make a choice. Take the red pill, your life completely changes and you know the truth. Take the blue pill and life continues as you always thought it did, and it looks just like life, like everything we think it is. Once he takes the red pill, it's like Alice in Wonderland going down the rabbit hole. But at the end, one of the movies I'm going to tell you without giving it away, we've often heard people talk, many people we've talked about it, people who have their life review, for example, and there's thousands and thousands and thousands of TV screens playing with a scene from each person's life. I've heard people refer to it that way. You get that scene in there. There is a lot of stuff as you start to dig and you look. And that's why people start talking about a simulation. If you look at the story of like the trilogy of The Matrix and you start looking.
That's what I no, that's really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I have to preface this though. And we've talked.
They have the Oracle in there. They have the Oracle.
Exactly.
They deal with time.
Lorilei and I talk about this all the time. We don't know everything, of course, you know, but to all the stories, to all the weird stuff we see, all the old lore, it might not be exactly like that, but everything had to come from something. Because I always tell people, even in the universal laws, if you can think about something in the future, then it's in some shape or form, it is there, because you wouldn't be able to conceive it if it wasn't already there, because everything is already all here all the time, which is really weird to look at things. The other thing is, when I had my NDE, I did go through, like I went through a little bit of review, but I also went through some past lives, but I did not see them on the screen. I was literally put into the life.
Yeah, but after you watch The Matrix, for example, and then you look at the law of attraction and how powerful our thoughts and our words are, including how we can manifest what we desire, it starts to make a lot of sense why people are saying, is it a simulation?
Yeah.
Because we're energy and we're that powerful and we can affect change and create what we want, and we're meant to live a life of abundance and joy and happiness, and we can create it? Or are we in a simulation that we are really just manipulating the simulation to what we are creating? Like when we've talked about this, we're here to have an experience. We create our experience. Do you see what I'm saying? So that's why people call it that.
The only thing about the movie I didn't jive with that I saw scenes of is when like he woke up and he was in like some glue shell with
but you need to see the whole movie to understand. Like when I first saw it, that's why I said I suggest you do a little bit of research, because when I first saw that too, I went, what the heck is this crap? But once you start to look at it from the whole big picture, and you have an idea behind the storyline and you start to look at it, and what it's basically is to me, and from having conversations with other people about it, when we see what you're talking about with Neo, he's basically being reborn from who he was as Thomas when he always had the blue pill. He took the red pill and got to see the truth and what the simulation was, and he's being reborn as Neo, basically.
Oh, got you. Yeah, I never did see it. Maybe I'll watch it one day, but I'll tell you, having an NDE really ruined a lot of good movies for me. It's like, I think like horror movies. Like, I was a avid horror movie watcher. I know Lorilei doesn't really care for them. I love
Sorry guys, on mute. Sorry.
Hey puppies. So I was an avid horror movie watcher, but after my NDE, they don't make sense. But I still watch some. There are some that do. I like monster movies and stuff like that because those are fun for me. But like the slasher movies, I used to think, oh, just slasher movie, but knowing what I know now, I'm like, some of those can be more real than they should be playing out on there. So I don't tend to watch those anymore. And I don't watch a lot of the scary haunted house ones, although I do like a good haunted house. I love like
jump scares. Even when it's jump scares. No, even if it's a movie I've seen. Sorry, guys. I have my grandpuppies, and my partner Dell just came home, so they figured it was time to scream and yell from the bedroom. So that's why I had to mute. But I don't like, even when I've seen the movie, I cannot stand suspense and stuff. Like, it just, like, for me, that's what anxiety feels like, and I don't feel anxiety very often. And it just, I don't like the feeling. I can't sit still. I don't want to watch it, and so.
I like the old horror movies when I was growing up. I loved like Friday the 13th, the original ones.
Dave, like, what did we get the thong at the foot of the bed from?
Yeah, the thong at the foot of the bed.
And in Halloween with his Speedo. Like, so Dell made me watch one once. He made me watch Halloween. That's how we noticed this. And I realized, or like, I kept hearing about how scary the original Psycho was, right? Back in the day, you'd hear people as little kids.
Oh yeah, they were scared back then. Yeah.
Yeah, but when you watch it, you're like, what? This isn't scary. Creepy.
Oh, I know. You know what? That movie was creepy. It was, but it's funny. I watched. If you ever revisit an old movie that you watched when you're younger and you watch it as your age now, it's totally different. It's not.
It's the worst. Okay, my friend Erica and I, we lived together. We were each other's maids of honors and the whole bit. We've known each other since we were about 15, 16. Mm-hmm. And I loved Prince back in the day. I still love him. And she did too. And when Purple Rain came out, like, we were just so hooked. Like, it was just a masterpiece. And I think I watched it like 10 years ago and went, oh my God. Like, what did I see in this movie besides
Leslie, that's a really good comment.
Go ahead, Dave. I'm going to mute again.
Okay. I was going to say, Leslie, that is a great comment. Leslie says, older movies left violence off screen, so you imagine the worst. And and when I was young, I had a really great imagination. I mean, I grew up with, it was funny because I grew up with Paranormal Activity in the house at a very young age. I mean, I guess nowadays what other people would see in a haunted movie and think it was scary, although for some reason it wasn't really scary to me. But anyway, what I was going to say is I don't imagine the worst as much, but I understand your comment because some people, they can see somebody disappear in a barn and never come back out again. And like someone like me would go, oh, I wonder what happened. But then you have that one person that says, that he picked her up by the hair and slit her throat and gutted her and all this other stuff. So their mind goes out there. So they get like this really cool experience. They get this good horror movie.
Yeah, but Dave, think about it though, as mediums. And then we're going to show our video clip because we've got lots of great comments and questions. We can go over. Hi, Kathy Hanley Little. So think about the people that we talk to, that we work with, that come for a reading that weren't able to be at the bedside, or when their loved one has passed away, especially say it was something very tragic, and how they torture themselves thinking about what that person could have gone through. So people do, and depending, I think, on how visual you are and how much you still use your imagination, I think that that's more psychologically terrifying, whether it's a movie or it's real life.
I agree. Because like we and Lorilei talked about this before. We both talked to a lot of victims on the other side that had terrible things that when they talk to us, they're like, oh, we're fine. they're like,
plus most people, and we've agreed on this, and we've talked to other mediums, most souls leave the body before the actual the physical passing, so that they don't remember, they didn't experience it, and what have you. Now, going back to the glitch in the matrix, it was interesting that you brought up the Berenstain Bears. Now, David, before we get into, yes, I have questions. Okay, I have questions. We're just going to take it for what it is. And we also have to remember that in this day and age, there are deep fakes. Now, the reason why I download is playing this clip instead of the first one I got. And I'm going to disregard that this man has not been seen since 2017, since he posted this, because I don't believe it. I don't know what the guy's name is. I can't do research. I have seen a longer video with this clip in it about the Berenstain Bears book. And he was talking about portals, and he showed some machinery and stuff. It's like a documentary. I don't know where it is. I seen it a few years back, but I remember this clip. So I'm going to show this clip about the Berenstain Bears.
Oh, wait. Before you show that, I know what you're talking about. Was he the guy who had the book and it changed as he walked through the doorway?
That's what I'm going to show.
Yeah. Oh, that's the one you got. I don't know if it's real or not, but
I'm prefacing it before we go anywhere. So there's no, yes, we have questions. We have many questions, and I don't know the guy's name. So I
both have questions on this, but it's good.
Yes. So I'm going to try and blow it up for you guys, and you're going to see, he's going to give you a little bit more information than this video is about 3 minutes and 20 seconds long, because he gives you more information than just the quick clip. And I'm going to have to stop it in between, just as a heads up, because with fair use, we have to do that on YouTube. Okay. So give me a sec, guys. Okay, here we go.
All right. This is the first video, you know.
I'm trying to make
yeah, this is weird. So I just have to show you. I hung this thing up. I got it a long time ago. My cousin painted.
That's a creepy picture.
It used to be hanging over here. I've decided to move
and wall
it there. I put this over here just for the hell of it. I'm only bringing this up because until I had done those two things, things were normal inside of this room right here. So the night I did this, it was just a couple nights ago, that really weird stuff started to happen in that room.
This painting has black eyes, by the way. It's gross.
I thought I was going crazy. I thought I was seeing stuff. So I'm doing this video so you guys can see.
We're going to post this in the group, you guys, because it's hard to see.
One of my nephew's books. It's just an old book. It's something my brother and I used to have growing up. And I started to look on the internet about this crap, and some weird stuff going on here with this name, Berenstain Bears. So I had this book. Again, it's my nephew's, but I had this book in my closet when they came over. I wanted to give it back to them. I planned on going out there to see them. And I dug it out, and I noticed that the Berenstain had said Berenstain in that.
I paused it just for a sec. Okay, so you guys, the audio obviously got better as he was showing the book. It's going to be hard to see. I will post it in the group. We've got Roberto Carrizo saying hello. Julie Jean Bassett's here. Hi, Julie. Hopefully I didn't miss anybody. But watch the book as he walks in and out of the room.
Real quickly, for people who are just listening, I do like whatever it is. There's a painting that's a very weird painting with the dark eyes. It'd be like creepy painting, like Lorilei said. It is creepy. It is what it is.
The
And
wall
then
hanging is creepy.
yeah, and then the wall hanging, to me, it looks like a mirror image of a tree of life kind of thing, but it's all in gold and it's tattered and it's kind of weird looking. And I'm thinking he was saying everything was fine until he hung those two things up across from each other.
Their positions.
He switched their positions. Yeah. So that's what he's talking about. And then what Lorilei will explain in a minute and what you can hear.
So you guys watch the book when he goes in and out. And again, if you can't see it, it'll be posted in our group on Facebook under the thing at the foot of the bed on Facebook with Lorilei Potvin and David Hanzel. We just had a couple of people join in the last couple of hours, which we're very glad about. We're getting up there, you guys, to 200.
Okay. That room, but I come out here into just the normal other part of the house, and it says this. So just so you know I'm not crazy, I'm going to show you as I pass through this doorway what happens, and it's fucking weird. All right, it happens when it gets in the room. See it?
I like that you can't notice any cuts at least.
No, you can't.
It's continuous.
Yeah. And then I don't. This just creeps me out, man. I don't want to clean this room anymore. When I sleep in here, look at that.
So there, it's EIN there.
Changing. Right there.
No, it's AIN. He shows you up close. EIN as he goes in the room, comes out to a certain point, and it goes back to EIN.
I just know something weird in that room. And whether or not it has anything to do with these two items beyond me, just point it out because, like I said, it was normal.
I don't know how much longer it is.
I did that, and then I'm in that room, and weird shit's happening. This is just the tip of the iceberg, I've noticed. There's some other stuff that I can't go into right now, but it's weird going on. So I just wanted to make a video about it, and
there's not much more. So
I have to say, that's a really good. I love this one because I've seen one similar to that. If it was that one, just because, like Lorilei said, if it is faked, it's flawless as far as the switch goes. And I get the backstory of it. The one thing though, in the top of the video, it says portal or something universe.
Parallel universe.
Parallel universe. My thing about that is, if it's a portal goes into a parallel universe.
No, but there's a reason why, because like I said, there is a longer clip. I wasn't looking this up. We were looking up portals, one of my best friends, Leanne, and I, and we happened to find the longer video of this. And the theory is, I don't know what this guy's name is. I'd probably have to go through an old phone to find it, that he had some type of machine. I don't know if he built it off of something from Tesla with the plans or what, but he claimed he had a portal. And you will see like a machine that created portals. And the original video, it came in parts. The Berenstain Bears thing was part of it, but there was also, and to me, and I remember Leanne and I had quite a few conversations because it almost looked fake, like it would put a hole into the wall, like, and you would see another dimension straight through. And then he went out in the woods with it, and he had other people with him, like a younger, I think it was his kids that were like pre-teenage, and they went through the portal. So I don't know if it's real or not, but I agree with you. A portal is another dimension. It could be a parallel universe.
Yeah, it's a doorway to another dimension. So if it is real, he could just be walking through that portal or slipping a timeline there. Because I was thinking when he went into the room, I'm like, oh, thank God you're back in the 80s. That's where I know the STEIN. I never heard of the Berenstain Bears, but I know there's a big controversy over it. And it was proven that the books out now do say Stain, and it was Stein when we were younger. So who knows? But that's a good video. I liked that one.
I have quite a few, but I wanted to go back because somebody brought up fairies, but Howie brought up a good. I got to go back for it. How about, he says, how about how many times have you seen someone's doppelganger. So for people that don't know what a doppelganger is, it's supposed to be in the paranormal lore, and anybody can correct me as I'm wrong if I'm wrong in any way, but it's basically like the mirror image of somebody else. And in some cultures, if you see your doppelganger, it's supposed to be a predictor of death, gloom, doom. Again, I go back to what spirit's always given me. What we perceive becomes what we believe, and it becomes our reality. Because I indeed did have a doppelganger in our previous home. And I didn't believe in that crap, that it was a bad omen. We had a shapeshifter.
A doppelganger, I guess. Here, let's see if I can get a it's German, I know that.
Yeah, I knew that, yeah.
Yeah, but it's like, I'd see if I'll get like an exact. It's a good concept. Doppel means double, and ganger means walker. So it's your double walking, which makes absolute sense. Yep. They say it comes from folklore and mythology. Some people see them as ghostly or paranormal phenomenon. Some people see them as solid. So I don't know which one anybody wants to subscribe through. I'm going to say that I agree that we all do have a doppelganger. And I'm not talking about somebody who looks like you in a supermarket. I mean, there is somebody who, like Lorilei said, is like almost an exact mirror image of you for some reason.
Ours was solid. Ours was solid. Yeah. And I think I've told this story. You're right. And I can't tell you how many times, because this is another theory I've gotten into, not online, but off air, or online, but off air, is I don't know about you. I think you and I have had this conversation off air, actually, Dave, where people halfway across the world, like a friend in Australia saying, I was out and I swear to God, it was you. I saw while I was sitting on the bus, you were at the back of the bus, same hair, same everything. And then you start thinking about, okay, halfway around the world, it's daytime when it's night here, and it's nighttime when it's day here. What if I was sleeping and astral traveling and they actually saw me on the bus, but I thought I was having a dream?
Yeah. David's doppelganger theory, this is just my theory, is what I think it could be. I've never really asked my guides, because I'll tell you, a guide's not going to give you every bit of information. We can go to the other side and ask for the information, but it's really, really difficult to validate it anyway, and they know that. But my theory about the doppelganger is, if either you see it or it runs into you. Some doppelgangers like don't have the exact length hair you do, but they're you.
Mine did. Mine looked like was wearing the same clothes, same hair length, same everything.
Do. So if you know the theory, or what like Lorilei and I know, is that in most psychics, mediums, we all know this one, is that everything is actually happening at the same time. There isn't a linear timeline. We're in a stretched linear timeline where you're really from. Everything touches each other. So everything happens at the same time. So I was wondering, sometimes when you run into your doppelganger or somebody else sees them, are they just stepping into you in the other timeline? But it's just that.
Unless you live in an extremely haunted house. So this is what lived in my extremely haunted house I've talked about before, the one I was at before.
But I mean, do you think of the doppelganger as a separate entity?
That's where I'm going with this. Yeah. So the main thing that appeared to me claiming to be a demon, I can describe, it was a man in my front yard in a tree. I won't get into long logistics of the story. I've told it many times. But so that was the main thing, and it's been caught on camera. I have pictures of it, black mist, okay, and weird shapes behind me. I've posted some on TikTok on my video. People are going, oh my God, that was in your house? I go, yep, and they saw the picture before and right after, and this thing popped up behind me. Someone I was talking to on Skype took a picture. Meanwhile, so we had the thing, whatever, it was powerful, it was not nice, did a lot of physical things, but then I could not see it, but both my boys could see it, and Dell, my partner, could see it, and they all described it. If you've ever played Super Mario back in the day with the Nintendo, he looked like a little tiny Grim Reaper with a white Jason hockey mask. They were calling it, what were they calling it? I just had it. Whatever the character's name is it'll come back to me as I'm talking, the character in Super Mario, that's what they were calling it. Then we had a hat man, a typical hat man, what you would see, with all shadow, black fedora, looked like a black rain slicker, was really tall. They called the little Grim Reaper, the hockey mask, the Shy Guy, because that's what they're called in Super Mario. So all three of my guys could see it. And lastly, we believe it was female, but it would mimic my voice. It would mimic my boys' voices, because their voices hadn't changed yet.
Yeah.
And we believe it was the same thing. Like one night, Del went up, we're both night people, and he was up at 3:00 in the morning making a sandwich. So he had his, obviously facing the counter, cupboards are in front. He came downstairs, running downstairs, and he goes, "Did you just come upstairs and smack me twice on the left shoulder really hard?" And I go, "No." And I always say to him, "You've been to thousands more concerts than I ever have, and you've got hearing like that of a dog." I'm not calling him a dog. He has that kind of hearing. Okay. He could hear anything. So I said, "You would have heard me coming up the stairs. Also, why would I hit you? I've never hit anybody. I've never hit my pets, never hit my kids, never hit you. And I have no reason to." And I go, "Why?" He goes, "Because while I was making my sandwich, I got hit across my left shoulder super hard twice, so hard my head banged into the cupboard. As he spun around, he said it was the exact replica of me. My hair wasn't purple, super long hair, same length, same clothing, same everything." And of course, I'm being really sarcastic because I can be. And I go, "Oh, so what did this fake me just then do?" He goes, "Well, all I could see was it looked just like you from the back, and you went right around the corner and then it disappeared." I go, "Well, what, now I can disappear?" Because I was really annoyed. Like, why would you think I'd come up there and smack you? But that wasn't the first time. He's had a couple incidences, not in this house, previous home, that it took my form.
Now you wonder, I'm just going down the rabbit hole, you guys, because this is fun. I really don't have a comment coming on it. But if it now in a matrix, to go with the matrix stuff, if you ever wondered how many of us look like each other at some point, or look like family members or stuff, it's almost as if like maybe there's only so many bodies and so many looks to go back into. So that could be a reason. Or how about this, if you want to put it in the matrix, if somebody dies here and we bury them underground, we're not literally burying somebody underground because that consciousness never died. Could another consciousness take over that form of that body? Not like in the grave, what I'm saying.
Then we're getting into zombies.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I don't mean like that, like they went into the grave and it came out of the grave, but like something that was less than nice said, "Oh, look, Lorilei body is available for me to hop into and play Lorilei for a while." I don't know.
I think this thing was evil. I can.
That's what I mean. It would be a bad
Cursey
thing.
words, never on air, but I do use cursey words. It had a foul mouth. There'd be lots of times I hear, Mom, can you come upstairs?" Because our bedroom was down in the basement. And I'd be about to go, and then I'd realize, wait, the boys are at their dad's house. Nobody's home. Del would have been at camp. That happened not just to me. The boys would sometimes think they'd heard me, or Del would think he'd heard me. I think why it happened, for whatever reason was going on in that previous home, I'd been told by many people. And I did as little as possible to get involved. Like, I did not do EVPs, although I do have some from calling into my friend Jason Bland's Paranormal Soup show. At the beginning, this is how I kind of rediscovered all of my gifts and everything through the experience I went through. So I reached out to a lot of people, and the consensus was there was at least one portal open in that home. But I think the reason this doppelganger showed up, the four main characters, we had other things and weird stuff I've talked about on the Angel Rock in here too. But I think it was to create chaos, confusion, and fear, which negative things like to feed off if we're talking about energy.
But I wonder if all, because do you remember, what was her name is Sylvia Brown. You remember Sylvia Brown? Mm-hmm. Sylvia Brown, I read all of her books. I read a bunch of them before my NDE, and that's how I knew my NDE was real, because they were nothing like that, what she described. But that doesn't mean that what she described wasn't real. It just means that was the experience she was drawing from. So, because we all have a slightly different experience. But she talked about a doppelganger. She wrote in one of her books, it was a big thing in her books about the doppelganger, because it actually passed her on her staircase and went to turn down the heat or adjust the thermostat after she just adjusted the thermostat. And so her doppelganger wasn't as much mean as it was not cooperative. So I wonder if all doppelgangers would be not nice or just some.
I think it's your belief system. Again, what Spirit gave me years ago, what we perceive
No.
becomes what we believe, and it becomes our reality. Same thing with NDE. I can tell you from studying them over 40 years, plus talking to patients who had a cardiac arrest in front of me, they were resuscitated, and I felt very honored that they would share their experience. There's not little differences in people with NDEs. There's huge differences in people with NDEs.
No, but I mean that. But I mean, no, I'm talking about if
no,
you.
But where I was going, Davey, let me finish.
Well, let me declare because it's important that it is for why.
I was just going to say, let me finish. I think we have the experience that we're meant to have in the experience when we have, say, for an NDE or maybe a doppelganger or whatever it is, right? We're meant to have that experience for a reason. So I wasn't shaming you in what you said or anything. What I'm saying is you had the experience you had. And same as Sylvia, maybe she really did have that experience.
She didn't have a near death. This was stuff she wrote that her
I said it was a doppelganger.
The doppelganger. Yeah, the doppelganger. Yeah, it all depends. That's what I mean. But Sylvia wrote about what her guide told her, what the other side was. And it came through. She didn't actually experience a near death.
No, I wasn't talking about that.
No. Oh, that's what I mean. So I agree with Lorilei. In a near death, there's a lot of similarities, but in the end result, no, everybody's different. There is a common... I don't even know how to put it. A common area.
I don't know, Dave. I have heard of some crazy NDE experiences, including shared near-death experiences.
Those happen all the time. Really those are documented.
Well, just different ones for children versus people that literally were meant to die. Look at Anita Murjani's. She was dead. She was clinically dead. She had stage 4 cancer, was completely covered in tumors, and was dead for a couple hours and came back from her experience. She's now alive and is following a spiritual path. Like I said, I think we have an NDE if someone is meant to have one, and you experience what you experience because you need it maybe for what happens in this life.
That's absolutely my belief. It's a reset. You needed to have it for whatever reason. And that's why I think that part's different. I think the actual, though, when we go over, not like the near death, because the near death, we don't go all the way over.
Well, in your experience, you did it, and from what you received from your guides, I can tell you, I have heard people talk about their experience of going over. There's a guy that had a car accident. I wish I could remember his name. It's a really profound story that really has stuck with me. It's not the only one. Where nobody's
cord was ever cut, though. Nobody's cord was ever cut in an NDE. If it was, they wouldn't come back.
Dave, you're not letting me finish here.
I know.
So where I'm going is, I didn't say his cord was cut. I'm telling you, he had almost an NDE when the car crash happened. He had to say goodbye to his wife and his baby son. He went through a horrific healing experience. And yet, I can't say whether he did or he didn't. He had an experience where he was able to go over and hold and visit his baby son that had passed away. Now, did they bring the baby to the doorway? I don't know. I'm just going with what people said.
Oh, no, I know what you mean. No, you're absolutely right. That can happen. I'm saying outside of that, now this has got to be hearsay because it comes from my readings. They always tell me, no, they're in a whole different place than even what I saw.
Long story short, I don't think any of us are going to know the answers.
No, until we go. Yeah, until we go. But the near death does prove, I think it proves 100%, no matter what they went through, that something's happening. I was talking about somebody who had hearsay from a spirit guide and said, this is how it is over there. And that's how it is for everybody. That's
not right. That's not right.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why when I said I went over there, I was actually happy because I really didn't like that scenario that she described. I'm like, I don't want to live there.
But maybe that's the way she perceived it, and it was
that's what I said. Yeah,
and I guess it depends when she wrote it too, because I will definitely agree with you that no, that's not. I've had somebody on my show twice who's never had a near-death experience, but has been extremely fascinated with them and has done a lot of research.
Yeah.
And again, I'm never there to disprove someone. I treat whoever comes on my show kind of like an honored guest in my home. You share your story and people go with it wherever it goes. And they learned a lot from people too that were in the audience that shared their experiences, right?
Oh,
So
yeah.
I always say we're never ever going to know until we all go back home.
We don't know. No, we don't know. We don't. Bye, wandering hippie.
Well, bye. Sorry, we were right in the middle of talking. I'm sorry.
We were chatting. This is how, Lorilei, and this is how we do.
Yeah. So Connie asked, could it be that a version of ourselves from another dimension crossing paths in real time? Yeah, it could be.
Yeah, sure. I don't know why. Yeah, that's actually it's a very plausible explanation, I think.
Mm-hmm. And as you can see, that's the beauty in this show. And sometimes we forget to tell you guys this because there is new people here. When Dave and I started this show, and we have said it from time to time, and we probably should say it again because there's different people here, that Dave and I are not experts. Okay. We're giving you what we have experienced in our 50, I'm going to be 59. We're almost the same age, years of life, what we've learned and what we receive from spirit. And we don't always agree, but nor could we agree on everything. It would be boring, first of all.
Second, it would be boring. Yeah.
Second of all, we've had different lives and different experiences.
So just remember, when we have little arguments that seem like that, we're not mad at each other. That's how we did. You know what, you guys, if more people could have discussions about things instead of just going, well, I hate you, I'm out of here, I don't want to be in this show anymore. That's not how you do it. You have discussions, because there's many things I have changed my mind on.
Me too.
Yeah,
I didn't even think the same. I didn't think the same, say 10 years from ago till now. Are you kidding?
Yeah, we're always constantly, the world is in constant change. So should our opinions. I think
I didn't know you'd never seen The Matrix before.
I never saw it. I just never.
But I know, like, I wasn't like, for example, and Dave and I won't even remember this next week. But for example, I didn't know you hadn't seen the movie The Matrix, because I know you've mentioned, no, we don't live in a simulation, and I don't know. Like, I can't say yes or no one way or the other.
I can't say no that it's not a simulation. Yeah, I can't say no, it's not a simulation. It's just like she said, because we come through different experiences and we're viewing the world through these human eyes. So our higher selves know everything, but we're kind of looking like this and trying to rediscover who we are and stuff about ourselves. That's basically how I say why people come here. Because
no, but that's why we like your input, you guys, because you guys, like examples, Kelly shared this thought here. You guys share your experiences and you guys ask great questions, and other people throw their 2 cents worth in, and we all learn from one another, because none of us know. That's why it's called the paranormal. It's any of this is the paranormal, because it's not
outside of, and Leslie made a really good point. She said we are all seekers of knowledge here, and that's absolutely true.
So Kelly said, my sister thought I took her blanket off of her and she went to yell at me. She saw me walking down the hall. She yelled at me and I didn't turn around. She then said she saw me laying in bed asleep. Ooh, interesting.
That is. See, that would kind of freak me out a little bit. I used to hear when Lorilei talked about this earlier, I brought up something. So we're both clairaudient, and I'm really clairaudient. So more than not, I will hear that voice outside my head loud. Okay, we've all had it. Everybody's had that, where you woke up from bed and you heard somebody, even though you're the only person in the house. I used to always hear. It was really funny, and it's kind of comical. And it was after my NDE. But I would be in bed sleeping, and somebody would yell my name, and the voice would always be like of somebody who totally not lived there, but wasn't even like a real character. Sometimes I've heard people's characters' voices from cartoons call my name out loud.
Have you?
Yes. I don't know why. You know what? One time, and it was loud. It was in my ear. I was laying in bed resting, and I heard the maid from Family Guy say my name. And I did. I had the best laugh. I was laughing, but it actually scared me because I was the only one home and there was no TV on in the next room. And so it was just quiet. And I thought, or maybe my mind just related to it that way. Who knows? But I've had voices come in, like I've heard my cousin call my name who doesn't live in this state and lives someplace else. I've heard all kinds. So who knows? Who knows?
Well, I had this conversation. I forget what guest it was on a Monday night show, and I forget how it came up. We were talking. She was a medium, actually. She's from the UK. She's lovely. I'd love to have her on again. Anyways, I think her name was Erin Gray, and she was talking about something that she didn't think could happen. And how it came up was, I said, well, you're a medium. And she said, yeah. And I said, it doesn't happen often, but there are times, and I know other mediums, myself included, and I'm sure that you're going to say the same thing, Dave. Once in a while, not that often, we can get somebody coming through who is alive still. And what it is their higher self comes through with information for somebody that needs to hear whatever the higher self is relaying. I was positive you've had that happen too.
Yeah. Oh no, that's absolutely true. That's happened. I've heard somebody, I've heard their name or called their name, and then I've called them and they're like, I was thinking about you. I'm like, yeah, I heard. You know, so yeah, I believe,
yes, that's happened lots. Yes.
Yeah, that can happen. So yeah, you can hear their voice and you call them up and like, were you thinking of me? They're like, yeah, I was just thinking about you. Like, that's because
sometimes that can happen, and I've seen it happen where somebody's higher self, they're still alive, will come through. And
it was like a theory behind that. It was like almost the same theory as like, you know, the Banshee. Remember the Banshees? Some people say when the Banshees scream, what it is, and because it's like a prediction of possible death to come, that's the soul going through the veil. Is that sound that we hear? That's the scream. I don't know how true that is.
I never heard that, but wow.
Yeah, I read that one. In an old. It was God. It was about the time that movie High Spirits came out. Did you ever see that movie? Cute movie with Daryl Hannah and something like that. It was a good movie. It was in Ireland or something like that. But I think it was from Irish folklore or something. They had that theory.
That's where the Banshee comes from. Yeah.
And I thought it and I thought, you know what? That's almost, I understand why somebody would think of it as a scream, because you know how we sometimes we'll hear like we hear a scream in the woods and people say, I heard a scream, when actually, have you ever heard a fox? A fox sounds like a scream, you know? So we don't really know what's out there. So it's
Kelly says, I want to come back as a banshee. And Diane, this is actually a good point. So when we were talking about that, you think you hear someone call your name or something and you end up talking to them right away almost, and they go, yeah, I was thinking about you. She said, check out with the person if you hear or you think you hear, even though they're not there, if they are often they are needing you. They could need you. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Two people having the same dream. Yeah, that happens all the time. We're all plugged in. Yeah, that can happen.
Okay. No, but she said, what about two people having the same dream? Sorry, I'm just going to read it. Remember, I forget. Dave forgets.
I forgot. Yeah, I totally forgot. Thank you.
People are listening. So what about two people having the same dream? What do you think happens? And Dave hit the nail on the head. Yep. We're not paused. I thought we were paused. Sorry. We have a universal consciousness. We could all plug into it. We could all.
Yeah.
We're just
two people might have needed to have that dream. So maybe that's why.
True. And the other thing is, right, all I was going to add to that is we have never been taught how incredibly powerful and amazing we are as human beings, how powerful our thoughts, our words, and our emotions are, and all the things that we've been told aren't possible. With some training and tapping back into it, we can do, and we do telepathy, telekinesis, things like that. We could do. We've just been told that we can't since we were born, and we believe we can't.
Mm-hmm. That's why you guys don't see ghosts anymore or stuff like that, because when you were a child, everybody told you it didn't exist. Like Santa didn't exist, that doesn't exist, and you grew up with that belief system. If you want to see all those things again, get rid of that belief system.
That's true. Yeah. Julie's saying, excuse me, yes. Okay, so Dan, you made me think of something. You said that's weird. My daughter saw a coach in the funeral about my aunt. Well, so I have her on about 4 times a year. She's a good friend, and she's written many books on mermaids and vampires and werewolves and fairies and the strange and unusual in the paranormal. And I remember she came on and she was talking about, my mind just went totally blank. I cannot believe, I'm telling you it's the heat, you guys, because she is a good friend of mine. Hang on, I'll tell you in 2 seconds. And she's a good friend. I've known her for years. September. Varla. I can't believe I forgot Varla's name. Sorry, Varla. I don't think she's listening, but Varla Ventura. And her books are really cool. And she does a ton of research, but she bases like on the fairy and the fae. She did a lot of it based on Celtic research. So she really went into about the banshees. And I'm going to ruin it. The word is the Claddagh, I think it's called, or something like that. So the coach that Diane was referring to. And then she said, watch the old Disney movie called, I think it's Darby O'Grey or something.
Darby O'Gillis.
Is that what it is?
Darby O'Gill, yeah.
Okay.
It's awesome. It's awesome, yeah.
Well, she said it had a lot in there. Watch it. It does. It has about all the Celtic lore about the coach after you hear the banshee that comes to pick up the bodies and stuff. It was interesting.
Darby O'Gill is a really good, I mean, actually, whoever wrote that did a really good job, I think. They did a really wonderful job. That's one of the ones I like, stuff like that. I like when they base stuff off lore and don't add stuff to it. You know what I mean? They just cook the lore, and that's what's so great about that book. Yeah, Darby O'Gill and the Little People.
Sorry, go ahead, Dave.
No, I was just reading. Darby O'Gill and the Little People. That's what it's called.
Yes. Well, that's what she said, to watch it. Those were her words, almost exact. That they actually put the legend and the lore in there, and it was pretty true to form of what the information was. Yeah, Diane just ended it. Yeah.
It was really good because I've watched movies about trolls, and now, okay, they're gonna think me weird. Oh, David's too weird now. Well, as far as like the fae and all that goes, trolls are part of it. But anyway, there are some people, most people, when they make a movie about trolls, they always make the troll like kill everybody in the world and get really bad. But I don't know if you ever seen the Hansel and Gretel movie, the remake, where Hansel and Gretel are older and they defeat all the witches. Oh, it's really good. It's really good. But anyway, in that one, there is a large troll in there, and it kills a lot of people, but it never kills Gretel. And the reason it didn't kill Gretel is because it stayed true to the lore that trolls don't kill witches. They can't, like a white witch. Trolls can't kill a white witch. They can kill any other witch. So stuff like that. Did you see it, Leslie? But that's a really good movie too. Like Lorilei said, it stayed true. Like her friend said, it stayed true to the lore, and that's the cool thing.
Well, the other thing I downloaded, it was supposed to be glitches, but it came up. It was one I downloaded a long time ago, because lots of times I'll just save stuff that we don't show. But people were asking if mirrors are portals.
Okay.
Now, I'm not saying mirrors are portals. Anything could be a portal, and Dave and I were in agreement with that. Okay. Yeah. But these are pretty creepy, so I thought I'd share.
I like creepy portals.
Okay. Before we start it, I'm going to say it every time now, Dave. I have questions. I have a lot of questions. I need information. I'm just taking this for what it is, showing up, because and you know what? Even though I'm being a smart aleck, the thing is, it is true. Okay. Because in real life, yes, I agree 100%. I have questions. I would need way more to know about this, including in the days of deep fakes here. Anything can be faked with video.
Well, we're watching for pure entertainment and for.
Yeah. But I think it's important to say that. I do. Because I don't want people to think that I'm looking at this. Oh, that's true. That's true. That's true.
Yeah. And I don't want you to think that everything I look at is not true, not true, not true. So
no, but I think we got to ask questions. So this person put on here, mirrors are portals.
Mirrors are portals.
It's gone viral.
She makes like a creepy smile.
Yeah, her face. me stop it.
Yeah, those are fun though. I like those. There is one. I'm sorry, Lizzie from Scotland. We aren't doing this show isn't for live readings, but you are more than welcome to hang out. You really
We'd love
are.
to have you hang out. Mm-hmm.
There is a really old one, and they haven't played it on TikTok yet. And I'll try to find it. I don't know where I found it.
You should go viral, Dave.
It is a really old one, and it was like old enough where it's like I don't know if we had that trickery around then, but nobody plays that one anymore. But after that one was played, a lot came out. But some of those I saw, there's some other ones I've seen besides that are really, I don't know what to make of it. But
yeah, because everybody, right, is it again what you perceive becomes what you believe and becomes your reality. So enough people start believing, kind of like the creepypasta Slender Man. Enough people talk about it, believe in it, write about it, draw it, what have you. And it then with a collection of that energy becomes a tulpa. So it actually starts to take a form. Is that what's happening with mirrors? Because there's a lot of people that believe mirrors are portals, even in cultures, right? They cover the mirror after death. Mm-hmm.
Well, depending. Some do, because I know like one religion. I don't want to say if I'm the wrong religion, but I think it's the Jewish tradition. They cover the mirrors because vanity. You shouldn't be watching yourself. But then there's other religions who do it for the purposes, like you said, about the portals and the mirrors. And I do agree. I do think. I know that there are portals in some mirrors. Not every mirror. I mean, don't be afraid to go out and buy a mirror and go, there's a portal. And don't look around your house saying, oh, everything's a portal. Because it's not. Trust me, if there is something up with that mirror, you will know. You will just know. You'll know.
Well, they say, okay, one of the ways to tell is you put your finger to the mirror. And if you can see your finger, it's the reflective backing on it, reflecting back at you. That's not a portal. But if you put your finger to the surface of the mirror and you don't see your finger, like you can't see your finger, that is supposedly one of the tests. Now, I don't know if
that's also the test to see if there's that's also that's the same test they use if you're in a hotel and you want to see if you're looking into a two-way mirror. But I'll tell you this. I can tell you this because I've done this meditation before. There is a meditation you can do with a candle, and you're sitting in front of a mirror in a dim room. And it's a meditation where you're concentrating on yourself and you're doing all this long thing that goes to it. And I've done it before. And I've saw my face change in the mirror. And so
I'm gonna share some pictures with you.
I don't know if it's a portal. I don't know. Double-sided mirror. Exactly, Julie. That's what I was talking about. But there have been, I don't know if that's my own eyes doing it, because I will say, because almost like if I do like crystal ball gazing, which is a form of divination, I'm not actually seeing a picture in the crystal ball like they show on TV. What it is it's more for focus. When you're focusing, then your mind can play it. It's usually all internal. It's within. So I don't know when you do the mirror meditation if I'm seeing stuff that's within, even though my eyes are over.
I have video here. I just realized of me in my old house on Snapchat. Remember the face pictures that would make the little doggy ears and you open your mouth and your tongue will stick out? Well, I have pictures of me, and what it does, the technology, it focuses on faces to put the effect on. I'm looking here. I have pictures of a second doggy. Is it doggy ears? No, doggy ears, teddy bears, kind of around me on my chest, as well as the one on my face showing up. That's not supposed to happen. And I tried it numerous times. It did happen. But the one I'm looking for, I'm going to show you guys this. Hang on. 1, 2, 3. Oh, come on, 3. I'll show it to you guys. It won't take long. They're just pictures. Okay. So I was in my kitchen in my old house, and I think I've showed you these pictures before, Dave. And I was showing a friend of mine the fairy door that we used to have on the wall. And we ended up taking it off. Sorry, everything's showing up here. I guess the new thing with StreamYard. Anyways, it ended up, I took 3 quick pictures of myself to show her. I'm going to try and upload these. Hopefully they'll let me upload. Hang on. Okay. So this is the first picture of me. I'll try not blow it up if I can. Okay, you can see the fairy door. It's my face. Okay, you can see definitely, right? Let's see if I go smaller, if it'll let me show the next one. Where's the next one? I think the next one goes this way. Okay, it's me again. Okay, you can see that's still me. That was less than a millisecond after. Okay, this is another millisecond after. That is not my face.
Yeah, now your face looks distorted. Yeah.
My lips are different. My nose is different. You can still see the piercing on the side. Eyebrows different. You can tell it's my hands. That was in the less than a second and a half, those pictures taken. How does that happen? It wasn't a mirror. I didn't notice it when I took the picture. It was afterwards. And when you see them up close, you will see it better than on here. That is not my face. It's me, but it's not my face.
No, that's Lorilei Neanderthal.
That's what I thought. Yeah. Doesn't it look like Cro-Magnon Man? Like with the
Lorilei, that was Lorilei back in 3000 BC.
My past self is coming through.
Doll. So that could be what it was.
I don't know what it was.
Yeah, that was one of your past lives. Oh, Julie, there is different techniques for that. So I know what you're talking about, and you are correct on that. But there's another technique with the mirror thing, and it shows all kinds of weird stuff. But that Lorilei thing with that Cro-Magnon face, I remember when I saw that, I'm like, okay.
It's so funny you said that, because that's what I thought first when I saw it, Cro-Magnon.
Yeah. I could even when you first showed me those pictures like that, I even thought to myself, well, let's see. Because you guys know me, I'd have to think, how could it happen? I couldn't think of a way it could, because they're so close apart. They're within milliseconds.
It was literally like click, 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 click. That's all it was.
So it can't be a cloud cover or a shadow. So
and you know how much I hate taking selfies, Dave. Remember what we went through for me to take a new picture for this banner and our stuff?
Yeah, It took me forever to get a picture and fix it all up and change it. And
I hate taking selfies.
You hate selfies. But there's that was one. Like I try to debunk my own stuff as well. I could not find
debunk it.
Yeah, you can't debunk it.
Mm-hmm. No, I don't know where that came. That we had all kinds of weird, freaky stuff happening in that house. I'm writing a book. It's weird. But speaking of when you said, okay, people sometimes cover mirrors when they pass away. How about this one? And I just remembered I got to contact someone Julie connected me with that I meant to, and I haven't had a chance to reconnect. But anyways, I'm writing 3 books. My 3rd book is stories of those that are nurses, death doulas, which is a terrible name, but we're there at the bedside, as well as first responders when someone transitions out of this lifetime and goes back home, as I call it. I have a story from one girl whose mother was a nurse, and she's a nurse. Her mother was working on peds. This was many, many years ago. And there was a little First Nations boy that was staying on the pediatric floor in this city. And as I understand it, his family had many children, and they didn't have a lot of money or anyone to watch the children. So they had to go back home. And this little one was terminally ill. Mm-hmm. So, and the floor was crazy that night, as I understood the way the story was told. And they were able to be with him when he passed. He was about 3.5, 4 years old. Okay. So the call bells were going off. There was emergencies everywhere up on the floor. So what they did respectfully was cover him until they could prepare the body, because we have to do that as a nurse before it goes to the morgue. And they covered him. But what kept happening, and there was nobody in that room, the call bell kept going off in that room nonstop. They'd go in, nobody's in there. They make sure he's still covered. He should be, because he's no longer in his body, the soul. Kept going back and forth, back and forth. It was a couple hours. And as the story goes, this girl's mom, who was one of the primary nurses for this child, went in and went, oh my gosh, I forgot. I guess the family had told her that part of their belief system, and this was a young child, that the soul could not leave until you opened the window. She opened the window, call bell never rang again.
I was going to say, too, along with that, when you were telling the story, where my head went was the little boy passed and he hung out and did the call button, because it felt like I felt laughter, like he was laughing, like look, I'm out, let me out, Jeannie. So I wonder.
It could have been, but the beauty in it was, right now, does a 3-year-old absorb everything that your 3 to 4-year-old absorb, whatever your family's belief systems are? Because that was apparently a belief system for the tribe that he had come from, that the soul could leave. Could he been joking? I don't know. But it's often here
I think
they open the window and the kids go, and no longer the call bell goes off.
Yeah, because I suppose, but maybe they could though. Maybe they could though, because of the fact that when we come here, we agree to certain things. So we might agree to have that same what did you call it? Superstition or whatever. We might all agree to
or
that.
Maybe the child, right? Like you were going along that line.
Yeah,
maybe
just
he
thought it was funny
to solidify that belief for the nurse that went in and opened the window to help you believe that there is an afterlife, right?
Yeah.
So he stayed until the window was open.
I agree. I mean, there's so many happy parts. I know it's very sad, and I don't like when children have to go because I know that's got to just be terrible for mom, and I understand that. But from my point of view, I can understand how, like Lorilei would say, that little boy might go, well, hey, they need to know that this is how it goes because this is going to further them.
He didn't have any family there. Family couldn't be with him, so he was all alone.
So maybe this is his way to prove to her, like you said, that hey, I'm still around.
Mm-hmm. It was an interesting story, though, right? And things that you really can't explain or have a concrete answer for. And those are the kind of interesting things that you sometimes see when you work in a field where you're there when someone transitions, as I call it, back home. So those are kind of interesting stories I'm collecting.
There's some wonderful channels now you can watch with hospice nurses who have these absolutely beautiful stories. You guys, don't worry, they're beautiful stories. Mm-hmm. And for somebody, I went through this. Lorilei did when she was very, very younger, but she was very, very young. But it's easy to understand, like when people do the reach and all that. Because
not everybody does that though.
Yeah, not everybody does, but there's a lot of people who do certain things, or they'll all of a sudden seem like they're totally fine and everything's good. And then
I call that the gift. That's what I'm going to be writing about, the gift. And nobody gave me that name. To me, it's a gift.
Yeah, they talk about stuff like that too. And that's basically where like somebody can be terminal, and they look so bad, but then all of a sudden they've had people with like Alzheimer or something, all of a sudden come out of it and talk to people like they're normal again. And then 3 days later, they're gone. Or
I've had patients that happen. And the sad part about it is depending on your cultural belief, right? Like the one family that's always stuck with me, and we know as nurses physically when someone's going to pass, usually within the next 24 hours. And this person was definitely in that stage, end-stage terminal cancer, and he was comatose. And while I was there, that exactly happened. He woke up. It was like he'd never been ill. He started eating and asking to drink and everything else. And the family, because of their belief system, believed that it was a miracle and that he had been healed. And so believe me, that took a lot of time to sit with them and recognize that still physically, one of the hardest things I had to do, and very tactfully speak with the family about that this really was just a gift to be able to spend the time and say the things that you need to say. And indeed, he did pass within the next 2 hours.
And sometimes some people don't want you. I've talked to many people and we've heard some people, they'll be in a hospital and everybody's surrounding them and they'll be going in and out and everybody keeps saying, well, that patient's going to pass away. Sometimes the patient will wait till everybody leaves the room to pass away because they don't want you to have that, to see that. And some patients will wait for someone to get there. Mm-hmm. It's all, I like to say in the first Beetlejuice movie, when they go in that room and they have to see their caseworker, and she says, is this what happens when you die? And she says, that's what happened when he dies. This is what happens when she dies. That's what happens when he dies. So everything's a little different. But I think they're absolutely beautiful stories, though. I love that.
I've been seeing, David, where you've had 2 family members that are very close, and one is passing away, they're terminal. and it's towards the end, and the person is hanging on and hanging on and hanging on because the loved one that's going to be staying behind has always said, I don't know how I'd live without you. I can't live without you. And so the person who's ill is hanging on. And I've literally witnessed where the loved one realizes, I need to let them go. And they physically whisper in their ear, it's okay to go. I'm going to be okay. And within a minute, the person's gone.
That's, and that's my cat, Charlie. That's how my cat passed away. He got really sick. He laid on the floor. He was rolled over. He was ready to go. Everybody knew he was ready to go. And I got down by him and I said, Charlie, I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready yet. Please don't go. Please don't go. I swear. 30 seconds later, that cat got up and walked like nothing ever happened. And then my dad brought home Carmel, who I have now. And he brought home Carmel. Carmel and my cat got along with Carmel. It didn't even bother him. He was with him for about 2 or 3 days. And then I went in my bedroom, and then Charlie laid back down on the floor, and he was coughing and he was doing the same thing. And I just knew in my heart. And since Carmel was there, I went down and did the same thing. I said, if you need to go, I'm okay now. And I love you. And literally, boom, died on his own, just went. Yeah. So he might have came back to say, well, let's see if he's cool with that cat, because I got a bolt, and then he left. So I'm a strong believer of these things.
That's why I'm writing our journey with autism, which is quite the story. And I know I've told you all this for people listening. One about the paranormal we've gone through, and then the third one, collecting these stories because they're powerful and they're unexplainable. They're not scary, but they're beautiful, unexplainable things that happen, and hopefully give people hope and not to be afraid that it's okay.
Now, on that note, did you do your midway mark thing? Because it's 8:43. Do you have
Well, I'll tell you now, if you're just, because we get talking, right? Thanks, Steve. Yeah. If you're just tuning in, you're listening to 105.3 out of Mississippi and 107.7 out of New Orleans, Louisiana, both FM, to UFO Paranormal and United Public Radio Network. And you're listening right now to The Thing at the Foot of the Bed with my co-host David Hanzel, myself, Lorilei Potvin. Also, we're just about done. Sorry, guys, we get talking, we get into these deep discussions. But stay tuned, you guys, because the second night of the amazing Michelle DeRoche and Amelia Pisano with The Outer Realm is coming up next, too. So there's another great show after our show tonight. So thank you.
And you guys have some great questions. We're gonna read some of yours, and we'll continue next week. If you guys want to do if you guys want us to do a show and talk more about this and talk about how we talk to, like, I've had conversations with ghosts before in paranormal houses, and it's really quite fascinating. So if you guys want to talk about that, you just let us know next time. Or
even maybe help people better to connect with the other side yourself might be a nice thing too. Yep. So Julie Jean Bassett, my dad asked my stepmom and I if it was okay if he let go. He didn't want to fight anymore. Oh, Julie, I'm sorry. But what if
I got that. What a beautiful thing he did, though, to say that. Yeah, that was beautiful, I think. Leslie says, wow, pets love us. That is, you have no idea. In my world, one day, I want a law passed. If you harm an animal, I want that to be the same punishment you would get if you harmed a 5-year-old child. The same exact punishment. Because that's what pets are. Pets love you so much. It's so unconditional.
I always say, if you want to know what unconditional love is, have a pet in your life.
Exactly. That is amen.
Speaking of pets, I don't know how my grand puppy's over here as he was barking. My son, we are not Ukrainian. I have nothing against Ukrainians. My partner is Ukrainian and Cree First Nations. Okay. But my son decided to call my grand puppy pierogi, like pierogies, but the Polish type thing. So of course I don't call him that. I call him Rogi. Everybody calls him Rogi or Rogi Roo. So we have Rogi Roo here, all buried in the blankets. It's only like 9 million degrees. My shepherd at the end of the bed is panting like crazy, and there's Rogi.
I've got my 4 kids on the other side of that door. But I got the
I
air.
know, but it's so hot. And it's like, how could you? He's black too. He's the Boston Terrier. So,
so he's really, you know what, you guys, is so funny. Just talk about heat because we don't have a lot of time to jump into a huge long subject. But I keep my house about like 77, 78 during the summer. Some people say that's too hot. For me, it's perfect. But sometimes I'll turn it down at night, like when I do this show. And my cats will literally, they're covered with fur, but they go upstairs into my bedroom, which is up. There's not as cold up there, and they lay on the floor. It's like they want it hotter. It's like, well, what? It's like, sorry, cats, you're just gonna have to freeze.
and they're wearing fur coats. Like there's guys doing roofing work or a couple houses down, and like, oh, I felt for them. Plus, Dell's been working 10, 12-hour days out in this heat. And it's like, oh my gosh, like I really do feel for him because I don't know how you could do physical labor in it. Rogie, are you going to come and say hello? Rogie.
I don't like to do physical labor when it's normal outside, let alone hot.
Well, the air's just so heavy. Yes, you come on every show though. Yes, you do. You can come and say hello. This is Emmy, everybody. Since we're talking pets, Emmy thinks she's a lap dog. Okay, down you go. She's got her mermaid collar on.
But she is a lap dog.
She's not a lap dog.
Right. She was just on your lap. I vote she's a lap dog.
Oh my gosh. Like probably 120 pounds, 130 pounds. Rogie, are you dead to the world? He's not, but he's.
Thank God I don't have 4 lap cats. Out of my cats, only one of them's a real lap cat. The other one just periodically jump up there, but I got one as soon as Willow. As soon as I sit down, the Willow is Willow I refer to as Sasquatch because everybody's seen her on video.
You said other names about poor Willow too. Her face. Poor Willow.
Willow, if you walked into this house, you will not see her. No other human being has seen her except for on video and camera. So she's like little Bigfoot.
Well, Rogie has I have Scouter too. Scouter's a Corgi Beagle, and he's a little old man, but one of the smartest dogs I've ever seen. This is how smart he knows. It's really hot up here, but it's cool downstairs. So where is Scout? Downstairs. So I want to thank everyone. Go ahead, Dave. Sorry. I have a delay, you guys. Go ahead, Dave.
No, I just said crazy animals.
I was going to say, though, I want to thank people because we had 2 or 3 people join like just an hour before the show to the group. So you guys, we're getting up there. I think we're up to, it's 115, 116. We get to 200. Dave and I are going to start going live in the group.
Yes. So you guys, get your butts over there. It's the thing at the foot of the bed on Facebook. And then you can also join Angel Rocker. Is the Angel Rock Tribe?
I have the Angel Rocker Tribe, and I have Paranormal University, and you have the Spirit Experience.
Yeah, but I have the Spirit Experience. So you got all kinds of places to go. Are we at that time to start? Yes, we are at 10-2. If you guys would like to know more about me, get hold of me, or get a reading, you can go to my website, theywhispertome.com. If you go to on TikTok and on Instagram, I am at Medium David Hanzel. No slashes, no dots, no numbers, because I have a lot of fakes on there. If it's not over 95K, then it's not me. The Spirit Experience is also on my YouTube channel, where some of you are watching from, and Facebook. And that is about it. Thank you, everybody, for showing up. I'm going to give it back to Lorilei.
And I was going to say, Dave and I will never message you and solicit readings. We don't do that.
Ever.
Right, Dave? Mm-hmm.
Ever.
Connie wants to know if you'll be doing Facebook Lives, David.
In my group, I will be doing some Facebook Lives. In fact, I tried last week to do one. Facebook's been kind of funky, so I'm going to go to I'm going to do some on Zoom and transfer them to live. So if you're in my group, The Spirit Experience, you'll probably start seeing me do a live in there once in a while.
I have been joining Dave on TikTok, but with the summertime and everything else, because Dave does message me, you guys, and it's been crazy busy, but I do. It may not be, if it gets cooler in the fall, maybe, but Dave
in the fall, that's where we're most active together in the fall. We have crazy lives outside.
I didn't tell you this, David, or anybody else, but I am figuring this out. I don't know if I can do it or not, but I'm going to try because I keep getting notifications about TikTok Live Studio, and I think I have found out the way to get the streaming key. So if I can get the streaming key, we may be able to stream this on TikTok.
Yeah, because TikTok is now adding, I think, a 10-hour stream.
Yes, so we may be able to do that. So cross your fingers that the computer gods will. I didn't even have a chance to tell Dave. I worked on it for about 2 hours yesterday. David and I are probably going to have to go live to test it out. So because we don't want to do it with a show, obviously. In case
there are some people who do us live stream TikTok, but it's not like ours. It's not like this is where
I have to get something called the streaming key and plug it into the RTMP feed and do a whole bunch of stuff. It's very technical, and I will probably work with the owner of the network behind the scenes, or I would get his okay first, but I need to test it and play with it. So David and I definitely will go live. Is where I was going to go with that. Now that I put it out there, no, I'm not going to say I jinxed it. We're going to need all your good juju, you guys, because TikTok will be a fun place to do it live as well too. Keep that in mind. So I don't know when or if, but I just found out, because that's always been the biggest hurdle, why we have, and David and I tried 6 ways to Sunday to try and stream it to TikTok, and we couldn't. But now that we can get the streaming key, we may be able to do it. So cross your fingers. So you guys, thank you for being here tonight. Everybody's saying love hearing and seeing about our pets, and great discussion tonight. Everybody's loving the show. We love you. And we thank you. If you ever want to get a hold of me, you can get a hold of me on facebook.com/the Angel Rock. I am working on a one-stop shopping domain name website. I'm also setting up a course one time a week, every week it's probably going to be about 4-month course. So I want to put it all kind of in one place. Right now, though, that's the best place, Facebook page. Also, you can get a hold of me on any social media platform you'd like. It's under Lorilei Potvin or the Angel Rock. I'm on every one of them. What else do I want to say? YouTube, I've got the Angel Rock with Lorilei Potvin. Also, like Dave said, 2 groups: Paranormal University for all things paranormal, Angel Rocker Tribe for more things spiritual. Don't forget, next week is a long weekend here in Canada on Monday. So you're either going to get little old me, or I may, because I have in-laws they came in today from Toronto. I may be out at camp and I have no service. Either way, there will be a show. It'll be a good replay, or it will be me. So you just have to hang in there and see. I think that's everything. So stay tuned, Outer Realm. Sorry, go ahead, Dave.
Oh, yeah. Stay tuned to the Outer Realm. Stay spooky, you guys, and we'll try it again like we always do. We're going to try to say our tagline. Okay. 1, 2, 3. What's at the foot of your bed?
We're way off.
Yeah, we're way off. Kevin Bacon is.
We love you guys. We'll see you next week. Same time, same space. Okay. Have a good one. Stay safe. Love ya.